Welcome to Roger & Bonsai Studio. Today we are going to be working on 3 trees. We're going to be doing a bit of cutting back, defoliation and hopefully some branch placement. So we have a Japanese mountain maple, a maple forest and also a silver birch. Now this is a tree that has been with me since a little seed, roughly around 5 years old, give or take, and you may have seen me work on it a few times in the past. What I really want to be doing with this tree today is defoliation of the leaves, and we're going to be cutting it back, leaving the petiole. And what this will do won't necessarily reduce the size of the leaves, as that's not what we are actually aiming for, but to help build a ramification where the leaf was, a new branch will grow. And don't worry, I'm not going to make you sit through the whole process. I am going to do a lovely little speed run for you. Now I did leave these ones on this weaker branch. I didn't want it to die off, and it's going to need all the strength it is. But now we need to get the wire off this tree. The wire has been on a fair while. There is some wire bite in places, but I'm not too fussed about that. I feel in time it may heal itself. It's not as bad as it has been in the past. It will never be a show tree. Now, as we're almost got all this wire off, the ironic thing is now we need to put a ton back on. Now this is cheap wire. We've got 0.5 mil and probably a 1.5 mil. That'd be perfectly great for these smaller branches to hold in place. Like these ones here, they should do the job lovely by bringing these down. We want that weeping effect. And we are going to take our time with this tree doing it. But once again, don't worry, I'm not going to make you sit through the whole thing. But if you're wondering, it probably took me around half an hour. So now it's time to start putting these branches into place. And what I'm trying to envision here is when you see those tall silver birches where the tree branches flow up and then they start drooping down, and you kind of want to create that natural flow that you'd see out in nature. Now it's time for this Japanese mountain maple. I have done a fair few videos on it in the past. We're not going to fully defoliate this tree, but what we can do is get it into some shape where at the moment it does look like that glorious bush of a ball. there is a lot of growth that is really pushing, that needs cutting back, but maybe today we can start forming these pads with a partial defoliation and a harder cut back in some areas. And it's a similar process to the birch. We are cutting back, leaving the petiole, and there's 1 or 2 leaves going through the whole bunch. So what we need to be doing is building this space here so we can see the trunk line. We are trying to get it so you can envision the birds flying in between the branches as if it was a much larger tree. There are some leaves that was undercover and they have grown absolutely long petioles, and we can't do anything with them once we want it in shape, so we're just going to get rid of them entirely. It won't harm the tree in any way. If anything, that will help increase the ramification further down the line. And if you remember in a previous video with this tree, we did put some wire on, and it's now time to get it off before it starts biting into the bark, and it seems to be holding as we're taking it off. It's definitely a successful job this time around. Now it is a very hot day, the trees do need a watering. I've already done it once this morning, but we're going to have to go through the whole lot. But we are going to start off with the Japanese maple. So another project you may have seen me work on in the past is 7-tree Japanese maple forest, and it's absolutely looking beautiful, I may say so myself, and it's putting on explosive growth for this year. It does need a cut back to get into shape, and we're going to start removing the excessive growth. And there will be some in the middle of the grouping that will need to come out, but we also want to leave some to grow. It just looks a little more natural to me, having that growth at the bottom of trees, which you do find in nature. And also I believe there's a large section at the top that needs to come off. I say large, there's probably a tiny little snip, but to me it made a large difference. Now I do want to kind of open it up in this section here, and we're just going to remove some of these branches, leaving a gap, and that looks a lot more clearer for me. That's like birds can fly through it. I'm just really sniffing off the end ones. We do have some frazzled leaves. These can simply come off, or you can leave them. It's not going to hurt the trees in any way. This large one here can come off. It's already starting to look like a lovely forest to me. Just needs some more opening. So what I am going to do is remove this little one in here. If you remember from the previous video with this tree, which was how to make a Japanese maple bonsai forest, I'll post it in one of the corners. It did have some cuttings, so they did grow some roots, but then they died off. They didn't really make it, but it's okay. Maybe I can add some more in a future date. And I want to create more of an opening here, so I'm going to remove this little branch. It should make it a lot more nicer. We have got a new one here growing, which we'll be able to direct in time to the desired location. We have got some of this inner growth, but I feel if we remove that now, it's going to make it look a bit odd. So it's more of a temporary filler. Now if you had to choose a front, what side would you choose? Now with slab plantings, I like to make it so it's difficult to choose a front, so it can be enjoyed all the way around. But if I was to choose, I'd like this to be my front. And normally the largest one would be in the middle or at the back, you know, with smaller ones in and around it. But I wanted to make something different, and I think it was working quite nicely. Now if I had another one coming out here, maybe probably another one coming out this side, I feel like it would be a more complete forest. And these are actually starting to thicken lovely too, and there actually isn't any bonsai soil here, which surprisingly dries out a lot quicker than my actual bonsai soil when this is just normal potting soil. I think it was the same soil that came with the trees at the time. So it's now around about 29 degrees. We've got storms incoming this evening, so I'm going to end the video about here. It's probably been about 15 minutes for you guys, but for me it's been about 2 weeks. It's been a pleasure, and I'll catch you in the next one.